Yo, what is good, folks? It's your boy Sportspsp. Welcome to Commander's Demand. As you all know, folks, your boy Sportspsp discusses things surrounding the Washington Commanders. Guess who showed up on the first day of the 3-day mandatory mini camp? None other than Chase Young, star player of the Washington Commanders. I'm reading a little bit here from an article of ESPN's John Keim, who covers the Washington Commanders. Young participated in the first day of Washington's mandatory 3-day mini camp after missing more than a month of the voluntary workout sessions, including the last two weeks of OTA practices. He and fellow end Montez Sweat worked out in Colorado, where Young did his rehabilitation work the previous offseason. Young was limited to 3 games last season after tearing the ACL and patellar tendon on his right knee on November 14th, 2021. Young said that he feels much better than what he did during the end of last season. Basically, he said it as night and day. He says that he feels pretty explosive despite the fact that he is wearing a knee brace on his knee. Head coach Ron Rivera said, "We just want to see him pick up where he left off. He was starting to play faster and faster, and just love to see him get out there and really run around and kind of cut loose and not be tentative. And that's probably the biggest thing for him." As for Jamin Davis, what he said about Chase Young, he's just an energy type of dude. He always brings a little soul to him as well. You always hear him singing in the locker room. It's good to have him back. And it's great to hear, especially for Commanders fans, that Chase Young is there, albeit mandatory minicamp. Heck, if he missed mandatory minicamp, the operative term is mandatory, chances are he could be fined or suffer some other consequences that we don't know of. Nevertheless, it's great that Chase Young is there working out with the team. So on one side is good, but there's another side that I am concerned about. According to Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer, the Commanders could look to trade Chase Young this offseason. This is what Albert Breer wrote. Teams coming out of the spring thinking they need more help may make trade calls on Young. It seems unlikely the Washington Brass would move him ahead of a must-win year, but I know they'd be open to listening, and there's a pretty surprising number of accomplished pass rushers still on the market. Breer continues, the Commanders have already paid Darren Payne and Jonathan Allen on the interior of the defensive line, and giving 2 more pass rushers in Young and Montez Sweat. Big contracts might be tough, so as Young tries to prove he can get healthy and back to himself again, he and Sweat might be competing for the last spot. Now look, as we all know, folks, Chase Young there's been questions about his durability. I said that he's missed out on OTAs. I did not think it was a good look. As you all know, the Commanders declined to pick up his 5th-year option. So this is a make it or break it year for Chase Young. He stays available, he produces, and resembles to being the player that he was in his rookie season, in which he was Defensive Rookie of the Year and led the Washington Commanders to the NFC East title. Hey, it's an opportunity for him to make some serious ass money. And for Chase Young to put himself in the conversation as one of the best young defensive players, alongside Dallas Cowboys' Michael Parsons, Myles Garrett of the Cleveland Browns, TJ Watt of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Chase Young, when healthy, should be in the ballpark of that type of conversation. And the other question, should Washington trade him? No, I don't think we should trade him unless he wants to be traded. And if we do trade him, if we're Washington, where else are we going to find comparable to him? And what are we going to get in return? At this point, if we trade Chase Young, we're not going to get 1st-round picks. Maybe 4th, 5th-round picks at best. At the very least, that's what I see Washington getting in return if we do decide to trade Chase Young. That's all I see, folks. I hope that Chase Young bounces back, shows people exactly what he once was, which was a monster, affectionately speaking. And I just hope for Commanders fans, he's our guy for the foreseeable future for the next 10, 15 years. Those are my thoughts. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. It's your boy Sportspsp. Enjoy the rest of your day, and God bless.